December 17, 2023, the Regent Park NCOs participated in an open event where approximately 1,000 toys were delivered to over 500 refugee children located in the West End of Toronto. Officers also attended 110 River Street, 150 River Street, 40 Oak Street, East Mall, Regent Park Community Center, distributing toys and clothing to each location. So, that's a lot. Alright? Yeah. Pardon? 220 Oaks in there.
Oh, no!
We're always in that. We're always in the lobby there. Anyways, it's so big, massive, like moving trucks, right? Mowing drives sometimes too. But yeah, big, massive moving trucks moving all these things all over. Okay, so December 30th, Regent Park neighborhood officers attended the Yamaha Stadium for an event with the Metropolitan University TMU hockey team. TMU donated over 125 pairs of skates, helmets, shin guards, pants, shoulder pads, and sticks, easily more than $10,000 worth of equipment. This equipment also received donations. This event also received donations from, again, Humanity Days with Allow Meals, who graciously gave 400 meals for the event, and the remainder to be distributed throughout the community, which we did. After we were there, it was about 200 at the event, and then we went through the community and we did the additional 200. Left, we were in the lobby of 220 Oak Street. Okay. So then, hot drinks were provided by Starbucks as well. In error, the event was scheduled at the same time as Friends of Regent Park, the skate event. They have their skate event on day 2. Leonard's in the house somewhere there. And so anyways, carrying on was, they also provided the skate library for free skate rentals, Tim Hortons, and for the hot drinks. And there's a DJ by AJ, who lives in the community, DJ. So, as I said there, collaboration was formed with the joining of both events, made an amazing day. So we combined the two events together, and it was a success, right? So nobody went away empty-handed, everybody had a good time. Now we're up to how to report a crime. So these are ground pamphlets. But we have pamphlets that show you what to do through various things. There's emergency 911, non-emergency 808-2222. Right? The website's there, www.torontopolice.ca. And then obviously 51 division, right? So all your things are there. 2222 tips, which is anonymous. You do not have access to any of your information. It comes to us on a red piece of paper, right? It comes to supervisors on a red piece of paper, and then they delegate it to us. And we don't have information. You don't have privy to any of that stuff. So you can make that call and know that it's confidential. Okay, so I'm not going to get into the whole thing. It's just the history of the Neighborhood Community Officer Program. It's in 16 of the divisions. It's citywide. It's we have Mo, Nigel, Farzad, Murcha, and other divisions doing the same kind of work. We're out here in the community, here to assist you and help you, right? And we're invested in the community with you guys. Okay? So that's all I'm basically saying there. And it's an amazing program. And that's it. That's us.
It's always nice to hear and listen to the guys talk because it reminds me of a few things. So I'm going to add a couple of things, Nigel, that based on everything that you were saying. So it did make its way in probably because it was last week, but we had another mental health apprehension last week that was in Regent Park, where a family member with concern for safety for someone in the family advised officers who attended that the individual that they were concerned about had a weapon in the house. And so we consequently dealt with getting the help and support for the family member, getting them to the hospital and dealing with that. And then a subsequent investigation led us to a submachine gun, an Uzi-style submachine gun that was found at the location underneath the bed, as well as ammunition that was successfully found as a result of the search warrant. But once again, this is cooperation from a community member, families saying, we know family members and we believe that they're in possession of a weapon, and we really don't want to see something bad happen to our family member. We don't want to see something bad happen to someone in the community. And that cooperation resulted in the seizure of a very serious weapon that could have caused a lot of harm in the community. Another thing I want to mention that these guys do every single day that they're working, we don't talk about it a lot because it happens behind the scenes, but it's something that's been very, very important to reducing crime here in Regent Park, and that is bail compliance checks. So one thing that we do when someone who's committed a very, very serious crime is a shooting, a stabbing, something of that nature, a serious crime, and they have made bail, and they've been given an address here in Regent Park to reside in, but they've also been given conditions that they have to abide with, like a house arrest or a curfew condition. These two, or their counterparts on the other half, will go out and do bail compliance checks. So they will go, those people that are on those conditions are required to answer their door within 5 minutes of when an officer knocks on their door to check to make sure that they're being compliant. And it's very good because sometimes we have the ability to check up and see how they're doing, and it's just a wellness check, but at other times, we knock on the door and there's nobody there, and then we have to talk to the surety and say, well, where are they? Why aren't they home when they're supposed to be home? It's past the curfew. Or they're supposed to be here 24/7 and they're not here right now. Why aren't they here? And sometimes that results in that person being charged with failing to comply with those conditions that were set by the court, and they then have to go back to court and explain themselves, which sometimes results in their bail being rescinded. But the big thing about that is it keeps tabs on people that cause harm in the community, that have committed violent crimes in the community, such that they can't commit a violent crime again. So it's a very, very important thing, and our neighborhood community officers are the ones that do most of those bail compliance checks, and in particular the ones for Regent Park. So very, very important. The how to report cards that Nigel was showing, if anybody wants those, all you got to do is email us. We would be happy to email you one if you'd like to print one out to stick on your fridge or whatever you'd like, wherever you'd like to put it, so you know you're directing your call in the right way. Our email address is simply regentpark@tps.ca, regentpark@tps.ca, and that'll get you in touch. When you send an email to that email address, it comes to all the officers sitting here, their counterparts that work when they're on days off, plus our staff sergeant that's on the back. We all get that email simultaneously, so you don't have to worry about who's working or who's not working. We all get it at once, and somebody will respond. Two other things, very, very quickly. I just thank you for highlighting Project Hope for your colleagues on the other side. I think it's interesting to note that something that started here in Regent Park by 2 Regent Park officers has now got to the point where the value of the amount that's been donated through that program that started here, homegrown in Regent Park by Regent Park community officers, has now reached almost $1 million in items donated to newcomers to Canada. I think that's important for us because we have a lot of newcomers in Regent Park. So that's something to be very, very proud of, that we have been able to do with our community. And lastly, I just want to ask Nigel a more question. So you talked about the neighborhood community officer program and neighborhood officers, and do you want to tell everybody where that started in Toronto? What community got it first?
Regent Park.
Regent Park. We all started here. Thank you very much for coming out. We really, really appreciate the attendance tonight. We are going to stick around for questions, but at this point in time, we're going to turn it over to Waleed and for the remainder of the evening and what they're going to do, and that concludes the part of the meeting that we're going to participate in. We'll be sticking around to answer all your questions, and thank you for coming out tonight. Much appreciated.
Thank you, Sergeant. And I want to thank Steve, Mohammed, Nigel, and Sergeant Dick for being here, presenting those important statistics. It's a celebration today because we want to acknowledge as a community that our neighborhood is becoming safer. Right? All major crime indicators are on a downward trend. That is amazing. The fact that we had 0 gun-related deaths in 2023 is something we should all be proud of. So I'm going to introduce our next speakers, but I want to let everyone know we will be taking questions at the end. So stick around for questions, and we're also going to have reflections from residents. So we're going to invite you to share your thoughts, what we should do to make sure that our neighborhood continues to be safe, okay? So we're going to make sure we hear from you as well. But first, I want to invite our first dignitary, our first elected official. I want to invite Member of Parliament provincially, Christine Wong Tam, who has been a friend of Regent Park since they've been our counselor. So please, round of applause for MVP Christine Wong Tam.
Thank you very much, Wally. And it's so great to be here with all of you today, especially on this very good occasion news. I want to say thank you to Officers of Slipped Away. They did a great presentation for us, but I want to just lend my own voice to say thank you to the hard work of the men and women in uniform of 51 Division. I've said it before on numerous occasions, 51 Division is the hardest working division across the city. They're also the busiest division, despite the fact that we are the tiniest little geography, Toronto Center. And if they're the busiest division in Toronto, you know that means that they're the busiest division in the entire country. So if I can just get you to give them a round of applause again, thank you. Nigel, thank you for your presentation. I was really quite remarked and moved when you were talking about the last homicide that we had experienced in Regent Park. And I think you will all, I'm just going to take a moment to just reflect. September the 18th, 2021, we lost a remarkable young man in our community, a member of the City of Toronto Public Service, Fane Murray, who's a recreation youth worker. Many of you know Fane, many of your kids and your grandkids knew Fane, and losing him was a significant blow to our community, one that I know that we still feel deeply today. It's also with a little bit of joy knowing that that's the last time that we have lost a member of our community, despite that very significant loss. So there are some things that are happening right now in Regent Park that we gotta keep going, because we like that statistic of 0. And I know that for the families in our community that have mourned the loss of those who have fallen to violence, and especially gun violence, it is a gut punch when that happens. So I know that there have been too many funerals, too many memorials, and today, as we commemorate the things that we have gone through as a community, this is a very important milestone, which is why Brother Waleed has brought us here with all of the supporters of the RPNA to specifically reflect upon what have we done. What have we seen in Regent Park over the past little while? We've seen investments come in, sizable investments, but not just in the brick and mortar, because we talked about that as a community on numerous occasions, is that we cannot invest only in the real estate. We have to invest deeply and thoughtfully, purposefully in our people. And we have to get to the root causes of violence, which means we address poverty and inequity. And so, thank you. Well, no, thank you. Yeah. And that is something that requires government action. And so we know that we have a responsibility. The councillor and I have had numerous conversations of how do we continue to support this remarkable neighborhood together. Him at City Hall, myself at Queen's Park. And that is through investments to make sure that there are opportunities for education. Kids can stay in school. Our community is invested in with recreation and cultural programs, and that money has to flow not just for the real estate, but also for the people. So there are budgets that are passed all the time, budgets that are a reflection of the values of who we are and what we stand for. And so we know that the city of Toronto is making significant investments in community safety. And my hats to the councillor and everybody who's been involved with those budget consultations and those deliberations. Next year, the Social Development Fund, which is a sizable amount of money that's just specifically targeted for this community to allow the community to do the work that they want done for themselves, is coming up for renewal. There will be a lot of activity, including all of you having to step forward to make sure that that pot of money is not just renewed, which it should be, but also increased, because we've seen significant results that are all very positive. So that is a body of work that you have to do. And I'm going to do that with you, with the councillor, and with RPNA, because that's important. And then finally, this is good. And then finally, there's one other thing. There's money at Queen's Park.
Yeah.
There's a lot of money at Queen's Park. And don't you let the finger tell you that there isn't any money. Because there are billions of dollars in unallocated funds. They're not just it's not surplus. They're just sitting in accounts. We need to make sure that Queen's Park also is investing in Regent Park. So we have 3 orders of government working together to uplift 69 acres of downtown, the downtown neighborhood, one of the most dynamic, exciting neighborhoods in Toronto. And that is something that I pledged I will do with you, and I want to make sure that you have a voice at Queen's Park as well. So thank you very much for the opportunity. It is great to see all of you, and I look forward to continuing the conversation when it comes to building a stronger, more inclusive, and a safer Regent Park for all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kristen. So I've met a lot of you. A lot of you are my neighbors. I recognize you by face. But if you don't know who I am, my name is Walid Kogali Ali, and I'm one of the resident co-chairs of the Regent Park Social Development Plan. I'm also with the Regent Park Neighborhood Association. And before we move on to our next dignitary, our next speaker, I just want to acknowledge the hard work that our MPP, Kristen Wong-Tam, has done for our community. I want to acknowledge the advocacy of Kristen, our MPP, as our counselor. We would have not had a well-funded social development plan if it wasn't for the advocacy of our counselor, then now MPP Kristen Wong-Tam. So thank you so much. Thank you on behalf of the Regent Park. And we hope to continue this important work for the next cycle of funding for the Regent Park Social Development Plan. Now I'd like to introduce our City Councilor, Chris Moyes, who is also an advocate of the Regent Park community and will be speaking to the importance of this milestone in our community, the fact that we had 0 gun-related deaths in 2023. So welcome, Councilor Moyes.
Thank you, Wally, and happy Black History Month, happy African Heritage Month, and happy Lunar New Year to all of you as well. It's great to be back here again to be amongst all of you. And yes, it is great to be here. It is a celebration. 0 gun deaths is a milestone. It's something to be all very proud of. And we didn't get here by chance. There's been a lot of investments in our community over the years. And the city has had a large part to play with that. But the Regent Park Safety Network, for example, some folks are here today. I work very closely with the school boards, the various schools in the neighborhood, the neighborhood officers who are here today have had a huge part to play in that. And even, in my own office, consider office here in Regent Park, I know we've seen about maybe 2,000 to 3,000 people so far in the last 12 or so months we've been there. So all hands on deck. It does take a village to actually get to this point. And we must continue to invest in our communities. We just went through a budget at the city. I'm part of the budget committee. It's a $17 billion budget. And before the budget passed, I did do a survey of 800 residents here in Toronto Centre. And some of the things that was said to me in those surveys is that safety is very important to people here. Housing is it's important to people here. Cleaning streets is important. Graffiti removal, all those things are important to people, not only Regent Park, but the entire ward. And so I was happy to support the budget. I'm happy to say that, we have a substantial increase in shelter support services in this budget. We know that there are many people who are not necessarily marginalized who need extra help. We know that many refugees come to this city, 5,000 a month, and they all need somewhere to stay. So I'm happy with my council colleagues and I, and the mayor, to actually invest in these social services. And of course, too, I was happy to support the increase in the police budget. As mentioned, the neighborhood officer program actually started here in Regent Park, and now it's across 16 areas in the city. So I know the chief said that if we were to not increase the budget, the first thing that would severe is the neighborhood officers, and we know how important they are to us. So I'm happy that they are here to stay, and we'll continue to work with them to make sure to keep our communities safe. And of course, as always, if you need any support from my office, you know where we're at, right? I've done that in Parliament, and I encourage you to come there. There are many resources in the office that we can assist you with, and so I will stop it now.
Thank you, Councilor Wallace. So we're going to have a raffle, by the way, right? So the event is also sponsored by the Regent Park Neighborhood Association. I want to point to those 4 beautiful mugs, and I'm going to give you the answers, but I'm going to ask the questions later. So I'm going to quickly talk about the Regent Park Social Development Plan. So the Regent Park Social Development Plan has 4 working groups: communications, employment and economic development, safety network, and the last one is community building. Okay, so remember those specific answers. So now I'm going to introduce the co-chairs, the resident co-chairs of the safety network. So Leonard and Haja, who are going to share some reflections about the work they've been doing through the safety network with a lot of you. Welcome.
Thank you everybody for coming. My name is Ajia. I'm a co-chair of the Safety Network with Leonard here. And we are really we live in village, like Mr. Chris said. To make it work, we need to know that we are, we need to know that we live in a region part of the country, treat each other like a village, because it takes a village to raise, how they say it takes a village to raise a child, it takes a village to raise a village. All of us need to be together and watch over each other, and watch over each other and be a neighbor. This is why all this is important. Coming to the meeting the police officer, hearing our milestone, and what we need to look forward to take care of ourselves and our community. Thank you all for coming. I'm going to give it to my co-chair, Leonard.
I ordered 2 separate items this morning on Amazon. I ordered a chicken and I ordered an egg. I'll keep you posted. A few quick announcements. Regent Park Safety Network is involved with not only the physical safety, but also the mental safety of people in Regent Park. It's important to stay connected, as Haja pointed out. We've heard that it takes a village to raise a child. It also takes a child to raise a village, to bring us together. We need more young people at events like tonight and across our community, because it's that togetherness, it's that shared humanity that brings us together and keeps the community safe. We have, by the way, an event tomorrow morning sponsored by Friends of Regent Park. There's a free
skating event at the Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment ice rink down on Shooter Street between 1 and 3 o'clock. So please come out. The city has generously offered the use of their skate lending library, which means you don't even need to bring your own skates. If you haven't skated before, there will be helpers, volunteers to assist you and make sure you don't hurt yourself too much. And yeah, so that's a great event that's coming up. We have the Regent Park Cafe that Ines is involved in. She'll speak. There she is, way in the back there. And we have our monthly meetings of the Regent Park Safety Network. Normally it's the third Monday of every month, but because of Family Day, we postponed it till the following Monday. The skate is between 1 and 3. Yeah, and we have free food, we have coffee, and we're making, well, we made them last night, brookies. It's half brownie, half cookies. So please come out.
And roasted marshmallows.
And yes, that's right, roasted marshmallows. We have a fire pit. There's a lot going on in this community, and it's up to all of us to say hello to our neighbors and make friends. Because, as I said, that's what keeps the community safe. So tonight is a celebration, a very special celebration. We have 2 big cakes, and thanks to everyone for not stealing a piece before the official cake cutting ceremony. And we're going to get underway in just a couple of minutes. I think Waleed wanted to say something, and then we'll have a schmooze fest with the neighborhood community officers and the other police. We're going to keep it short and wrap up in the next little while. Yes, so Waleed will talk about the cake, and these are very delicious, we were told, so please stay around. And thanks again for coming, to everybody. Even though it's cold tonight, thanks for bringing your friends. And Hadja and I live in the community. We're available 24/7. If anyone's interested, I'll give you Hadja's personal phone number. And without further ado, here's back to Waleed. And thank you.
Thank you so much, Leonard. Thank you, Hadja. Amazing co-chairs of the Safety Network and providing amazing leadership. And look, our community is much safer. So thank you to both of you. I want to acknowledge the other co-chairs of the Safety Network. So Jerome, can you please, just put your hands up? People should know who are other co-chairs, and they are working with Toronto Community Housing, and they support the work that we do as well. And Felicia. This event would have not been possible without Felicia. Thank you, Felicia. And all the amazing T6C staff that showed up today. I also want to acknowledge another co-chair of the SDP, Rabia, who is the co-chair of the Community Building Working Group. Rabia, do you want to say hi? Hi, everyone. Yes. And so we have other co-chairs that have attended today to show support to all of us. Now, we're going to do the fun stuff. We're going to do the raffle, and then we're going to ask if anyone wants to share some words from the community, because we want to also reflect on what you have to say, and then we're going to have that delicious cake. I can't wait. I'm kind of hungry right now. Okay, so the first question, and I'm going to ask you to name just one. So the first one to name one will get the amazing prize. Name one working group of the SDP. Okay. What do you want to say? Communications? Can I have... Congratulations. Oh, you're right. Communications. Okay. My friend in the glasses. Right there. What? Yes. Sorry? Safety Network? Are you saying Safety Network? Is that what you're saying? Okay, come. I'll give you a prize as well. Okay? Employment and Economic Development, come. Congratulations. Okay, here you go, my friend. Enjoy the mug. Here you go. And then the last one. Who can remember the last one? Ali. Community building. Stand up and say it with pride, my friend. You remember the community building working group. Come on in. Thank you, Ali. Okay, my friend. So those are our prizes for today. I'm going to invite residents, our neighbors, to come and, thank you, Ali, to come and share their thoughts. So who would like to come up and share some reflections. Don't be shy.
I'm gonna go before Chris and Kristen leave the room.
Okay, Miguel would like to go first. And before we get Miguel to speak, I just want to remind everyone that we have an amazing collaborative Black History Month event this Saturday. If you haven't got a flyer, please grab one. Spread the word to our neighbors. It's from 12 to 5. We're going to have food. We're going to have various organizations at the event. We're going to have activities for the kids. We're going to have performances. Check out Regent Park TV for last year's coverage of this amazing event. It was so well attended. So we'd love to have all of you there. So mark your calendar. It's Saturday next week. Okay, Saturday from 12 to 5. Saturday, February 24th. Okay? Okay, Miguel, you can start us off and then we can have another resident speak. Go ahead.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Miguel. I'm a DCSE resident. And I want to thank Waleed for organizing this event with Regent Park Safety Network. Thank you, Kristen Montan, for all those works for the Regent Park community. If it wasn't for you, we will not have a social development plan. And I thank you so much. Chris, you have heard from Officer Nigel tonight. We have a problem at River and Oak. Perhaps tonight will help you, that graphics will help you to understand the problem on the crossing. So it is a work in progress. I know you are working very hard. Thank you for asking me that question at City Budget at the Comical Center about the success of the SD plan and how it is achieving the goal of reducing crime in our community. When I came to Regent Park in 2011, I was used to hear about funerals, about vigils. Almost every year, we were losing members of our community. And then we realized, the investment that we're making in this community are resulting in positive outcomes. I want to make a side note. Chair Morgan of the Toronto Police Services Board in November asked me a question. Miguel, if we need to remove anything from the line of the budget, what would you do? What would you like to see happen, to stay, or to be removed? And the answer is like this: do not remove the neighborhood community officers. And that was because I understand the dynamic, the conversation, the good dialogue that we're having in this community with the neighborhood community officers. They're not bad guys, they're humans that make mistakes, but we are used to these familiar faces and make us feel comfortable here working on the streets. So thank you so much for tonight, for everybody to come in and enjoy the gate later.
Thank you, Miguel, for sharing your thoughts. Does anyone want to go next? Anyone? Yeah, come, Larry. Love to hear from you, my friend. Thank you, Larry.
I've been away for 6 months. Good to see Kristen and Chris. Yeah, I think all of the presentations, we need to learn from our success as much as our failure. So why did we succeed? But this is something that it's like everybody here is left to figure out, guess why we succeeded. The numbers are falling, and so after the presentation by the police officers, Kristen came up and said we need more funding. So in natural, we have to fill the gap. Because more money means more success. But we still need to know why. Is it because the criminals went away from Regent Park and went elsewhere? Or is it something fundamental, we're doing something right that we have to address the root cause of the crime? So I think next time we want to know why too.
Bro! Larry asked a really important question. Come on up. And I would love to answer your question. I attribute that because of the collective work of the community, but also investments in our community through the social development plan. $2.5 million. $2 million was already spent. We have $500,000 for 2024. And we hope to make sure that that funding is sustainable so that we don't go backwards, right? We continue to become a safer and livable community. But anyone else would like to speak? No? Okay, we're done then with reflections. Now, let's all have some delicious cake. And please get to know your neighbor. If you walk away from this building and not know someone new, I'll be very disappointed. Very disappointed. We cannot be a village if we don't know each other, right? So let's get to know each other and let's make sure that our community continues to be safe. Have a lovely evening, my friends. Thank you.